How many times do you think that you've watched that? The Cottage.
The Cottage?
Alone. I know that count is higher than any of the other episodes for you. I know it. I know it. Girl, I would be talking to Nicole and she was like, yeah, before I go to work, I'm going to watch some of The Cottage. Before I go to bed, I'm going to put on The Cottage. When I'm in a meeting after I watch The Cottage. I said, okay, girl.
Welcome back to another episode of Top 5 Heated Rivalry Podcast. How are you doing, Tyra?
I'm good. How are you doing, Nicole? Good day?
It's a good day. In fact, it is so good that I think we should start off and cheers to ourselves, but also to anyone watching, because y'all don't understand. Like, we started this podcast because we just wanted to yap about the things we've been yapping about for like 5-6 months at this point. Yeah. And to know that there are so many of you out there who love what we're talking about, respond to it, comment on it, tell us to do other top fives. It means so much to us. So
it really does.
Cheers.
This is for you guys in the great community that we're building. We love you guys. We love your comments. We love your insight. You're so smart. You're brilliant, caring people. We love you. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.
You're drunk. I'm not. Good for you.
Top 5.
So, Tyra, new top 5 this week, right?
I'm very excited about it. This is something like a little different. This is a territory we haven't like delved into, because on this top 5, we are talking about the underrated moments. And I think like, to be fair, that has been the theme of some episodes of our podcast, of like the things that people aren't talking about in the fandom, and really like the thing that really wanted us to start this podcast, to be honest, because we're like, why is nobody talking about this? So today we're going to be talking about the top 5 underrated things that happen in The Cottage.
I'm coming to the cottage.
You know, to Nicole, like earlier, we were talking about this. She talked about, you know, the stupid Canadian Wolfbird scene. And we have She Would Have Loved You Like I Love You. And all of these other iconic moments that I love you. When they're both.
Oh my God. I don't ever want that problem to ever go away.
Ever go away. 2 evers, you know. We're not going to expound on that much. We don't want Nicole's cry count to like go up. But love you both.
Go away.
But in this episode, the top 5 underrated moments, the little moments that we don't see the fandom really talking about, but we like really want to delve into. So Nicole, are you ready to kick us off to those top 5 moments?
I am.
Okay, let's get to it.
All right. So let's start off with number 5, y'all. And this is what I like to call the 3-minute uncut opening scene to entering the cottage.
Yeah.
Literally uncut, right? Because it's just a free-flowing camera shot, which is just like beautifully done by production. But oh my gosh, what an entrance into what is going to be like the 50 minutes that change all of our lives.
Yeah.
And I think like obviously there's been a lot said about the ways in which the scene was shot, that yes, it was uncut. We didn't really get a lot of like close-ups. It was just very much us living in the moment. But I think there hasn't been a lot of comments about what's actually happening in that scene and in that moment. And from the moment you see Ilya and Shane walk out of the car, and, you know, Ilya and Shane admit to each other that they have been exclusively intimate with just each other. And Ilya, being Ilya, is like, what's the big deal? Like, babe,
for you,
many people.
It's a big ass deal. You know what? Like, be so for real. You're so unserious, Ilya.
Shane knows that. He's like, for real? Wait, really? And I'm like
no one else?
Shane, like, really?
I would be too. I'm like, oh, so this is a definite change in our relationship, that you're not, like, it is the unspoken rule that we don't talk about the other people that you're fucking. Like and
hello?
What's going on?
What I thought was interesting, even though people try to make jokes about it online, what I thought was interesting is that Shane says, like, he admits, or he says to Ilya also in this moment, he's like, you know, I also haven't slept with anybody. And for us as viewers, we're like, yeah, we know Shane. But then it's like, oh, okay, that brings up questions for me. Like, one, is Jacob ever going to acknowledge what we know in the books, which is that like Shane had slept
Other
with
sexual partners,
like two guys after Ilya.
Yeah.
But then also like him saying that means something where it's like, okay, is there's been this unspoken thing over the last 9 years that like Shane has slept with people because he's never said in any sexual encounter they've had that like, hey, it's been 5 months, which is like in the grand scheme of things not that long, you know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, like
yeah, and that does feel like the divergence right from the show to the books of like Shane really being the one who's really in this relationship with Ilya, really the one pushing for, and Ilya is the one pulling back, where I feel like in the books is a little bit different. I feel like Shane very much has his guard up the entire time and has sexual partners and all of that, and this feels like a difference in the two characters. But before I get into the scene, I want to go back to something that you said, and you said that Ilya, his family, looks at him pretty much as the cash cow, you know, once he becomes this NHL hockey star. And it just sparks something for me. And I'm just like, you know, how psychologically, you know, how much the psychological effect of like going from contempt to commodity and within a family member must be just absolutely crazy. Okay. And I just thought about that. It was like, oh God, I can see the echoes of that effect within the whole show. But back to this scene, you know, my favorite part of it is, my favorite part is when Shane is holding his hand and leading him up the stairs, and which I just love them holding hands. We've been waiting for this forever. And Ilya's joking
he's holding his thumb.
Yes, he's holding his thumb. And Ilya's joking about, you know, what kind of accommodations that he needs. And all of this really signifies that, like, even above the, like, sexual part of this relationship, Ilya just really wants to sleep with him. Just wants to, like, stay the night and hold him in his arms. And that, to him, is the ultimate thing. And the fact that he's just like, I want to be clear about what this is. I'm not here just for a sexcation, right? I'm not here for this to be, you know, a weekend full of just lust. Like, there's something else. There's something more that is between us. And I want to make sure that we're both on the same page of this. Like, and that's something as simple as, are we sleeping in the same bed? Am I sleeping in the bed with you? And it's just
joking
like,
about it.
And joking.
Joke about it. To get
Ilya's
into it,
listen,
you know?
of course, he's never going. The boys and their lack of communication drives me insane.
I know. But wait, to your point though, that whole point when he's doing all of that, it's like he's asking that also because he's watched this documentary and he knows that Shane's room is the only room with that
with all of those things.
Bathroom, whatever.
He's making sure that we are both on the same page of what we're doing. And then I just love, after we get that point, the playfulness of Shane and him making a jokes and jokes like within this context of like the sexual nature of their relationship, which I think is I think it's so sweet and it's so cute. Like, I'm the help, you know, I'm just a bellboy. You can't treat the staff like this.
I'm just a bellboy. You can't treat the staff like this.
And Ilya saying,
I think the staff likes to be treated after years.
You know,
I know how the staff likes to be treated. Yes, you do, sir. You damn sure know how to.
I have to go.
She's there, y'all. I know how the staff likes to be treated. And I'm like, I remember watching it like, you damn sure do. You do. You do. You do.
But let's just talk about that for a second, because Ilya even admitting, like, saying that out loud, like, oh, I think I know how the staff likes to be treated after all these years. It's like, I mean, it's been all these years, guys.
Yeah, because I know you. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent talking about some other media, but like, me and Nicole love Pride and Prejudice, 2005 version. And in that, like,
don't talk about it. Girl,
Mr. Darcy says to Elizabeth, you know, I want to, like, let me walk you home. And she was like, no, you know, I'm very fond of walking. And he says, I know. And the director, Joe Wright, says, what that really signifies is that it's not just I know, but I know you. And that's bye-bye. She's gone, y'all. Cry count 3. I'm sorry. But and that's
You can't do this. You can't do this.
I'm
This is too
sorry.
much.
And that's the beauty of their relationship, right? Is that these are two people who, and to Jacob's point, he said this in a panel very recently that, you know, this was love at first sight. And from my perspective, I believe it's the same thing. It's definitely love at first sight. And these are people who have felt connected to each other. They didn't have a name for it. But the cottage really names it what it is. And it's like, this is forever. So much so that, you know, we get that scene of them up against the glass paralleling the first kiss, and Ilya wanting that to be in daylight, right? Because we've passed the sunset of episode 5, right? That's behind us. That was yesterday. That was before. But we have this. We have the sunrise, right? We have daylight. We get to be open in this way that we really can't be to the outside world, but that I desperately want to have this with you. And I think it's such a beautiful scene. And, you know, I feel like fandom like talks about this a little bit, but not really. But before we end on this, Nicole, I really want you to talk about something that something I find really hilarious that we have talked about in voice notes, which is the start and stop of the intimate moment between Shane and Ilya.
Girl.
Come on.
Because you know me. You know this.
Like, girl, why?
Okay.
Like, girl, why is he doing this?
We did not talk about this when we talked about this episode, but when this first like aired and we watched it, I sent so many voice notes to Tyra to be like, Tyra, I need Shane to quit.
Wait, it's been a while, so I might not last long.
Yeah, the start. So here's the thing, and I actually really love, because it did feel like we were taken on the moment and the journey with Shane and Ilya in the scene.
Yeah.
But Ilya's frustration when Shane is like, hey, I have an idea, and like we're gonna express our feelings, blah blah blah. I still felt that 3 minutes in when we get to the actual bedroom and we do the bellboy scene, and I'm like, this is so cute. Like, oh my God, they're role playing, and Shane's finally being like outwardly Shane and being funny and silly, and Ilya's reacting to it. And then Ilya's like, all right, and here we go. And then Shane does the one more that sends me over the edge. And Shane is like, hold on, give me a second. And then like takes a freaking like remote and is like, I'm putting the...
No, sir.
Sir, we're in the middle of Canada. I need you to get a grip. And also, Ilya, I just love the fact that Ilya is looking at the screens going down. He's like, no. Like,
No. And also, like, Ilya is on top of this man. He's got one hand on the face. He's got one hand on the thigh. And Shane, the thigh, inside the thigh. And Shane, you want to stop right there to worry about some damn blinds? Sir, I wouldn't care if we were in a fucking submarine underwater. This is happening. It's been months at this point. It's crazy, Shane.
Also, you sold this cottage to me as like, we're in the middle of nowhere, babe.
No one
Even
will
on
know.
the ride here, we're good. No one will know. So we're doing everything opposite from what we've done over the last decade. But like the thing that threw me about that last bit is like, you have started the last 3 minutes, and I would be fed up. And Ilya is perfect for Shane because he's not.
Yeah. So, like you always say, so patient with him, and we love that.
He's so patient. But but then to end the scene, which is, I love it, is like you have them kiss. Like first of all, I love how Connor. And you talked about this in a previous episode, and it stuck with me a lot. You said that Connor acts with his whole body. Yeah. And I remember in this scene particularly, he stops Shane, but then he takes the remote and then he playfully throws it. And it's like, huh. And it's so cute. And then you see Hudson react as Shane, and like he chuckles a little bit. Yeah. And then they kiss, and then he does the hand thing. He lifts up his chin, and in a way, the way he lifts it, it's almost like enough.
Yeah,
like, you're not going to stop again, and then they just go in, and I love it. It's so good.
It's such a great scene.
So good. Love it. Okay.
Love it.
So what is our number 4 most underrated cottage moment?
So our number 4 underrated cottage moment is the moment when Ilya is getting picked up at the airport by Shane, and they're on their way to the cottage. Before I get into the scene, Ilya Rozanov in all black with a backwards cap.
Hello.
Chef's kiss, magnificent. Put that in the list.
This is why we're wearing black a little bit.
It really is.
Right?
It really is. It 100% is. That was definitely coordinated. He looks fantastic. And the thing, before I really get in the scene, the thing I find so funny, when he gets in the car and he's like, Shane's like, did you get recognized? He was like, I don't think so. What do you mean? Of course somebody recognized you and took a video of you looking like Ilya Rozanov with the backward hat and all black on. Come on.
Hello?
This
Not only that, your suitcase is loud as hell. You have a backwards hockey cap on.
Yeah.
You look like what you look like.
You look like what you should look like. People are looking at you. You will be noticed. And the fact for you to say, no, nobody, they didn't. And this is, this is reason 1,000 why they would have been clocked a long time ago. Okay. But getting into the actual scene, what I love about this scene, there's a moment when, they're in the car talking and Ilya says, Shane says, I can't wait to relax with you. So beautiful because, we've done the sneaking around. It was sexy when it first started. And then to the middle of it became something that was necessary. But now we're at the moment, and it's from Shane's perspective, where I am inviting you into this place that I love, to Nicole's point, my favorite place in the world. Where I can truly be myself, and I want to share that with you, and I want to see where this relationship will go, because any of us who have been in relationships, there is a moment of infatuation and euphoria where you just can't get enough of the person, but then there is a moment where you have to take a step back and real life comes in. And what do we look like as two people trying to navigate the world together? And that's what this signifies, that trip to the cottage, that drive there. That 2-hour drive there, which I would love to know what they talked about during those 2 hours in the car with each other. But what does it mean for us, taking this next step, and how do we navigate that? And I just think that idea of wanting to relax, wanting to not have to sneak around, to not have to be in hotel rooms anymore, for us to cultivate a real relationship that's meaningful. And especially at this point in their lives, they are in their mid-20s at this point. This is a point where you start thinking about being with someone permanently and having long-term relationship. And for both of them, the only person they can see ever occupying that role in their lives is each other. And, going to the cottage is that huge step. And I love that scene and the bravery that it shows, because Ilya does mention, and I'll let Nicole expound on this more, but he does mention about, it's scary. I'm excited, but it's scary. And that's what, all of this was. It was scary and exciting when Shane asked him in the hotel room. And it was scary and exciting when they both embarked on, moving on to this next step of life. But yeah, I just love that scene so much. It's so beautiful. It's so sweet. And then when Ilya grabs Shane's hand and holds it, because, he's not going to not touch him for long. That is Ilya's love. That's Ilya's love language. 100%. He's going to touch Shane and grab Shane. But yeah, it's so beautiful, Nicole. What are your thoughts?
I think it's really terrible.
I know it is. She cried twice. She didn't cry. She didn't cry on this one, I don't think, y'all.
Y'all, if someone saw me watching this for the first time in my bed at 6 a.m. every week, it'd be embarrassing. There'd be a lot of...
Her looking at the window trying not to cry. Don't cry, don't cry.
No, this scene, I think it's incredibly underrated. I think, one, to what you touched on, when Ilya first enters the car, one of my favorite things is Ilya, it goes back to what Jacob said recently, which was Ilya has so many overwhelming feelings for Shane that sometimes his way of expressing that is almost like a diss in a way.
Yeah.
And I felt that when he first entered the car this time, where he looks around, he's basically this is your car.
Is this a Jeep?
No, it's British. practical. Get in the snow.
Okay.
I thought it was a really good touch that it was kind of an awkward car ride for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once we finally get to like, you know, Shane, this goes back to what we've talked a lot about their dynamics, right? Where Ilya recognizes when Shane is spiraling or not comfortable. And so he sees that when Shane is like, oh, I bought us groceries and oh, we won't have to leave. And, you know, he notices he's a little tense and anxious. And Ilya immediately looks over and is like,
Thank you for inviting me.
So sweet. Because they're both, you know what I love about that part right there? You can see that they're
sweet.
both holding their breath. They're both like, I don't know how to.
And also, Ilya is equally as just like nervous. And
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But he knows in this moment, he's like, he knows one, that like, and I've always thought this, is that the moment that Ilya calls Shane and says, I'm coming to the cottage, that also means like, I'm devoted to you. Like, I want to see where this goes, but he doesn't know that about Shane. And so in this moment where Shane is spiraling and it's just like, hey, I'm trying to like make this feel comfortable, whatever, he knows I need to let Shane know that like this situation is okay for me. And so when he looks over and it's like, thank you for inviting me. And then Shane is like, I'm glad you're here. And then he's like, I am too, but like, I'm terrified. And that terrified moment is not the terrified moment that maybe we'd get if Ilya would have said this like 2 years ago, right? Like he's kind of chuckling about it. He's terrified that so much will happen that like there's no coming back from it. Not terrified in the sense that's like, I don't want to be here. I'm so glad that at some point they started actually communicating, because when Shane so earnestly says, oh yeah, I told my parents that I'm on a silent retreat, Ilya
breaks the ice.
Yeah, Ilya, to Jacob's point, is just so like enamored with Shane and who he is.
Like a meditation. What? Does that sound fake?
He's so charmed by it.
He is.
That he grabs Shane's hand.
Yes. He's so fond. Like, he's so fond of him. It's like, oh, this is so sweet. And you know what? Like, back to your, because I really didn't think about this when I was thinking about that scene, but you talked about how Shane is nervously chatting about everything. And I love that Shane, especially once we get to episode 5 and that bar scene with him, is always the one to make sure that he is outwardly trying to connect with Ilya or talk to Ilya or fill any of the space, because he has earned that bravery from finally accepting who he is. And I love that in that car scene, that's what that is. Like, we are in silence, you know, after Ilya initially talks about the car, but like Shane is just like, I'm going to fill the silence because I want to get back to like who we are together in those intimate moments. And, you know, there's always has to be a starting point, right? And Shane,
and the same thing in the cottage when he enters, when he's walking in, he's trying to fill the silence too.
He's trying to fill a silence. And like, I'm going to do this because I don't think Ilya wants to or has the capacity maybe to, but I'm gonna do it because Shane is the brave one a lot of the times, which he doesn't get credit for. And I just love that in that moment that he's just like, let me figure out a way to get us back to neutral. And he doesn't recognize that all of these things, the babbling and all of that Ilya finds charming. He has no idea about that. It's just something to try to get the conversation started. But they are things that are, they are just things that are so innately Shane. That's why Ilya loves it, because they are so him. Yes.
Sorry, the cottage, when I talk about the cottage, I could just talk about the whole episode, and I thought that's what was happening. My bad.
How many times do you think that you've watched that? The cottage.
The cottage?
Alone. I know that count is higher than any of the other episodes for you. I know it. I know it. Girl, I would be talking to Nicole and she was like, yeah, before I go to work, I'm going to watch some of the cottage. Before I go to bed, I'm going to put on the cottage. When I'm in a meeting after I watch the cottage. I said, okay, girl.
Let me tell you, okay, as I'm filming today, and you know this because I told you earlier, I have a bag that a friend of mine well, I don't want to say this, but I have a bag that says I'm coming to the cottage. And I was at brunch today with a friend, and I brought that bag with me. And the waiter literally stopped everything we were doing. She was like, "I love your bag." We started talking about the cottage.
Girl, what does that count? We in 200, 300? What range do you think?
Okay, hey Tyra, give me 10 seconds. I'm looking at the camera because I need everyone to know Tyra tries to paint me as the crier, which I am, and tries to paint me as someone who rewatches scenes, which I am. But Tyra, she does the same thing. Like, don't make me look like the fool. You watch the cottage every time. Wait. Every time I bring up a scene in the cottage or I mess or something, you're like, "Oh yeah." And then this.
I just got good long-term memory.
Because the thing is, she tries to play me like I'm some fanatic.
I would never, Nicola. I would never do that. But listen. I thought we were talking about facts. I just want to know the count. That's all.
Okay.
Sammy.
I'm done with her, and so we're gonna move on to. I love the
number
cottage.
3 spot. I do too.
Congratulations.
What is the number 3 spot?
Okay, here's the thing. Number 3, was actually like my top 2.
I know.
But we settled on number 3, and it's underrated because y'all don't talk about it.
Y'all don't.
And that is, because I want to play it. It's the "I like you" scene. Okay, no, literally, this scene, the first time I saw this, I said, I'm not done with this cottage. Y'all are killing me. Because the thing is with Ilya is that he heard Shane's plea loud and clear. When Shane said, "Hey, for the next 2 weeks, can we just be honest with each other about who we are and like what we feel," right?
Yeah.
And obviously Ilya was like, "I'll try." But I think with this scene, what I love about it, outside of just the fact that Connor's story is like the perfect actor and looks like he just woke up and thought about this, is that the night before this, Ilya opened up to Shane in a way he never had about his family, about his mom, about how he felt about his mom, about old he was when everything happened, that he found her, just like things that really matter to Ilya and Ilya's story, particularly as we move forward with the long game in season 2, and the intimacy of him and his and Shane's connection. And I just very much appreciated that after all of that, the next morning, and we saw, and next morning, this was at least what I assumed, and I assume you think this too, is the first morning they've woken up together.
Yeah.
Ever. Yep. And so you see them, and Shane is just like, "Good morning," and he's like, "Good morning," and you just like understand, like, I remember as a viewer just being like, "Oh my God, this is the first time they're being able to sleep together, like in the same bed and wake up, and there's not the stress of like, where are we going and where are we, and like, do we have a game and all these things," and they never done it anyway, right? And so just to know that the first thought in Ilya's mind was like, I need to let this man know that I like him, this guy that I've opened up to, this guy that I feel a lot of things for, that obviously I've already expressed before in another language that I'm in love with him, but he doesn't know that. But I need him to know that, like, the moment that the intimacy that we had the night before, talking about my mother and the ways in which that obviously she committed suicide and I found her, and the effect that that had on me and my family, that meant a lot to me to share that with him. And that is, to me, the love and the care that came from him expressing that. Obviously, he's already liked Shane, but I think what pushed him into that moment was that night before with Balloon and the family connection, and Shane making a very safe environment for Ilya.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I think it's such a smart choice on Jacob's part to write that. Especially for people who are fully adults, because I think when you've been in relationships with people, it's one thing to hear someone say, I love you. It's another thing to hear someone say, I like you, that I enjoy who you are as a person, because that doesn't just encompass a part of you. It's all of you.
I know.
And I think that's the beautiful part of it, of that I like you, is that just, I'm not talking about just one part of you. I'm talking about every part of you, even the parts of yourself that you don't like. Those are the ones that I like. And it's so beautiful. And it is something that Shane needed to hear in that moment, because Shane has been the one who's been giving and, you know, has not received as much from Ilya in return, right? And so that's just another thing. Even like to your point, that night before, that is, you know, Shane creating this safe space for Ilya to unburden his soul and to tell about his mother and something that's deeply traumatic and feel comfortable in that moment to do so. That's another, you know, sign of Shane giving to Ilya, right? And, you know, when you are sharing these things, and also I don't think we talk about enough that, like, these are two people who grew up together. Like, from the time that they were 18, there are so many significant moments that happened in their lives that they shared with each other. And that you can't diminish the importance of that. But yeah, the I like you is just, it's a culmination of that, of just like, you know, I can think about how much I love you. I can think about these feelings that you elicit in me that I can't explain, but let me think about the things that I can explain. And the things that I can't explain are the things that I like about you, the things in your character that speak to me, the things that I aspire to be. And I do think that, like, honestly, it's just like Ilya really does look up to Shane. You know, Shane is not just someone that's on this pedestal for him, but he is someone that he aspires to be like. Shane is great in a lot of ways, you know, and emotionally among all of them as it pertains to Ilya. But Connor's acting choice, I remember when I like voice noted you, Nicole, and I was just like, oh, this man sounds like he just woke up. Like, you can hear the sinuses. I said to Nicole today, I was like, he sounded like I sounded when I sent her a voice note today. Sinuses terrible. Like, you couldn't hear a thing I said.
You did.
Girl, the sinuses are kicking my ass. And they sounded like they were kicking Ilya's ass too. I was just like, I can smell your morning breath from here, Ilya. But yeah, it's so sweet that they get to like be wrapped up in each other in this moment and get to share this first morning. And you can really tell, like, Ilya's thinking, I want to spend every single morning like this for the rest of my life. And that's the beauty of that scene. And it's so beautiful. I love it. It's so great.
It's one of my faves.
I know it is.
Okay, so wait. I think we're going to get to one of your faves, so that's the next one. No?
We are.
So what's number two?
Number two is the inspiration for my tattoo, honestly. Number two is the scene right after David discovers them.
Also same, by the way.
Shane. Yeah, right? Also same. Your tattoo as well. When David discovers Shane and Ilya and he like hightails it out of that fucking house. And Shane is freaking out and Ilya is being, you know, Shane's safe place in that moment and really comforting him. And there's so many beautiful things that happen in this moment, but I just love that Ilya is like Shane's rock. Like, they are so in tune to who each other are and like what the other needs. And they provide that in a moment. Like, Shane is freaking out and he needs to be talked down from the ledge, so to speak. He is like, you know, what about my mom? And, you know, what I'm going to think. And like, Ilya's just like, listen, you should talk to them. And even honestly, before we get to that scene, I just want to highlight, like, when Shane notices that David has discovered them and he's just stuck frozen in that moment. And Ilya's like, you should go talk to him. And then Shane doesn't move. And Ilya says, do you want me to go?
Yeah.
Fuck. Maybe you should. Yeah. Do you want me to? No.
Yes. He's like, do you want me to?
I love that he
so much.
was going to like take it upon himself to figure this out for him. And that is the type of love and like dedication that they have for each other and protection. Like, I will protect you and try to shield you as best as I can from anything that may hurt you and harm you, even if it is your parent. But
it's so good.
It's it's so beautiful. And the part I love is like when Shane says, you know, I need to go talk to them. And Ilya says, do you want me to go with you? And Shane says, you would do that. Like, insert that clip.
Do you want me to come with you? Would you? Of course.
But like, absolutely. Like, there's nothing he wouldn't do for him. And I love the way Connor plays that. And it's just this very simple, no thought, of course. Like, there is no other response. Of course I would do that for you. And, you know, the inspiration for my tattoo is the okay. So Shane says okay, and Ilya says okay. And it's just a confirmation of that. And it's so beautiful. And then after that, I love the nod to like Shane being completely overwhelmed and going to his knees and wrapping himself around Ilya to just try to reset, and Ilya becoming his home. Because I can imagine Shane being someone who deals with anxiety growing up, and, you know, maybe his mother at one point was that safe space that he would go to, and then at a certain point where you're living on your own, you have to try to figure out how to reset yourself when you're in a panic or you're in an anxiety spiral, and Ilya being that for him. And this is day 3 of them being in this bubble together, right? Like, and they're already have this shared language, this shared intimacy, this shared protection of each other, which they came about. It just kind of felt natural. And I guess that was just kismet, because these are people who are soulmates. They are meant to be together.
Yeah.
But this scene, and the scene is just framed beautifully, and they look beautiful. And again, Connor Store is out here looking like Patrick Swayze once more. I'm just like, you shapeshifter. But it's so good. It's such a good scene.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh my God. It's such a great scene. It's such a great scene brought off the page. I feel like what I love, and Jacob talked about this, is like how Hudson brought out a lot of Shane's fears into that scene. And that, you know, Shane is really good at masking who he is, or masking the things that make him feel vulnerable or scared or just uncomfortable. And this was maybe one of the top, if not the top things that would bring out a lot of the insecurities of him. And I thought he did a really good job of just showing what that would look like. And then I think Connor did a really good job as Ilya, bringing out like there's a point where, you know, at the beginning where Shane is kind of freaking out and Ilya's like, Shane, you know, just trying to calm him down. And then, you know, that line that Ilya says where it's like, well, maybe it's time for you to wake up.
This is my fucking nightmare. This is my actual fucking nightmare, Ilya.
Okay. Then maybe it's time to wake up, yes?
Love that line.
Such a great line.
Such a good line.
It's such a great line. And I think the thing that Ilya has always been good at in terms of like complimenting Shane on the show, and then what we know in the books, and then what we'll probably see in the second season, is like when Shane is feeling insecure or not comfortable with who he is, Ilya always says something that makes him feel like, I mean, Ilya one thinks that Shane hung the moon. Like, he's just like, I think about you in such high regard. Like, I love you to a point that you don't even realize I do, or that you love yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, speaking of tattoos, like, for me, the line that stuck out was like, this whole thing is scary, but you're brave. And we've known Shane to be brave from the moment that he introduced himself to Ilya in episode 1. And Ilya clocked that too. And I feel like hearing that directly from Ilya after almost 10 years of their relationship, quote unquote, it really means a lot. And Ilya needed to say it and to be like, you're incredibly brave for going through this, and you're going to be even more brave for going through what we're about to go through together, talking to your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
And I just thought that this scene showed a lot of one. When I watched it for the first time, I was just like, man, these two have grown up together.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just something so beautiful about that, like you met as teenagers and here you are in your mid 20s and you've done a lot of life together, a lot of life that most people won't ever be able to experience. And here you are, being in love and wanting to spend the rest of your lives together. And
Yeah.
there was just something so beautiful about knowing that unfortunately you all are being exposed at a place and a time where you didn't really want that to happen. And Shane obviously did not want that to be the case with his parents finding out about him being gay or being with Ilya at that point. But to your point, Ilya being very clear on the fact that, like, I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. I want to do whatever it is that you need from me to show that and to also make you feel safe and comforted by what this moment is. Because obviously, like, Shane is being outed and confronted by his parents or his dad at this point, but also, like, Ilya has never been out as a bisexual man either. And it's not really talked about a lot as much because Ilya is obviously a lot more comfortable with being a bisexual man and has come to terms with that than maybe Shane is with being gay, a man, for sure. But also, he's put that aside a little bit to understand that, like, Shane needs this moment and comfort from me. And, like, if I need to go to his parents' house and, like, show them how much I love and appreciate and adore their son, then I will.
Do it without a doubt.
And you see that in that moment, too, where, like, our favorite TMZ dad is like, hey, like, I've heard you've been with a lot of women. He's like, that's not untrue, but, like, I also love your son, and he's the only person
I only loved one person. Yeah.
And I just think Ilya stepped the fuck up in this moment, and I think this scene and this moment in general, it inspired a tattoo for me.
Yeah.
And
for
also
me?
it's just like, and also it just like showed the role that Ilya would be in the future for Shane, because as strong as Shane is, he still needs an Ilya, and that's important to his story.
And not just, you said so many things that I want to respond to, but
sorry,
I'm not gonna say anything. But not just for for Shane, but, like, in the books, like, Ilya is kind of the oracle. He is someone who is very perceptive and is there for a lot of different queer players in Rachel Reed's Game Changer series, or, like, overall series. And it's so interesting because he can be the thing for all of these other players, Ilya, that he can't be for himself, which I do find really interesting. But to your point, like you said earlier, this is a coming of age story, which are my favorite kinds of stories. And it's a beautifully crafted one. And I feel like in this particular moment, what it kind of shows is just the trajectory of how they grew up together, but also within that, so many things have happened to Shane. Like, Shane feels very much like our protagonist, but they both are, but I don't know, Shane feels more identifiable when you're watching the series for the first time. And there's so many things that happen to him that kind of push him into these situations to not only discover his true self, but for him to accept his true wants. And this is another one. There is such a desire for him to tell his parents and share about Ilya, but we're still in the early stages of, like, figuring out even for ourselves what this means. So that timeline gets sped up for Shane in that moment when David discovers them. And it's kind of like all the thing that like needs to happen in that moment, because to Ilya's point, Shane is brave, you know, but it's kind of all of these things. Like Ilya came like a tornado in his life, you know, that first meeting in Saskatchewan, and has been a tornado to push him to ultimately finding the love of his life, right? You know, and that's just like a trajectory of moments. And this is another one of them where the timeline gets pushed up further than it would have. And it may not have been initially the comfortable spot for Shane, right? But it's the right one. Just like Rose in that dinner scene, you know, asking about it. It may not have been the timing that Shane wanted, but it was the right timing. And that's what I kind of love about this. And I love that Ilya is his rock throughout him, you know, going through this process of Shane derailing from the timeline that he ultimately wants, right? Like, I know that Shane had a plan. He had a plan in the back of his head. Like, he had a plan for how they were going to get this thing going with Ilya moving to Ottawa. And it's like, the best laid plans get disrupted, and you have every single time been all the better for it, right? And we'll see the culmination of that later in Long Game. But the scene is great. So with that, Nicole, let's go to the number one spot. What do we got? Who do we have? Who do we got?
Oh my god. Okay, well, number one.
Cheers. Number one.
I know. Cheers. I'm not gonna look my last, but cheers.
Okay.
Okay. Cheers. Ego. Anything. Okay, so number one, I feel like people have talked about it, but not like in an analysis kind of way, so that's why we're here. It is probably one of the most joyful scenes of the season, and I love it. And it is, so we're gonna insert a clip. The blow job scene. Bam.
Smile, which is just like so sweet. And then when they're on the couch and Shane's a little nervous and he's like, hey, just so you know, it's been a while since I've had like sex in this way. I may come fast. And Ilya being Ilya is just like, oh yeah, me too. Okay, cool. And like tries to like bypass it. And then you get this really sweet moment where Shane is just like, wait, I'm sorry. Are you also in the same predicament? And yeah, of course, like that's a big deal. And we know it's a big deal. But Ilya being Ilya is just like, oh, it's not a big deal. And you see him like put his hand to his hair and then kind of lets Shane lead on the situation in general. And I just love the fact that it's one of the first moments, to me at least, outside of like that hospital scene where you see Shane being like extremely giddy and passionate and just like, this moment is everything I've wanted and more. And in that regard, I need to make sure that what I want to get out of this whole week or two is exactly what I need. Because for Shane, it's like, I don't want this to just be like a little week-long hookup or whatever it is. Right. And Shane knows that, but Ilya doesn't. And so I think him setting the ground rules, that's like, hey, I want us to like be really open with who we are and how we feel about each other. Like, it at least provides that opening space, I guess. Okay, Tyra.
Yes.
What is your honorable mention? Because actually, I don't know if I know it fully. So what is it?
So my honorable mention is another car ride, but this is the one to Shane's parents' house. So it's kind of a continuation of that scene after David discovers them and Ilya is being Shane's emotional rock, and Shane is still dealing with the after effects of his father finding out, you know, on a timing that is not his own. And I just love that like Ilya is so intuitive to like what Shane needs and is there to like calm and soothe him in that moment and really like prepares him to have this conversation. Like, I don't think that Shane is going in there as confidently as he does. And standing there with Ilya Rozanov, his arch rival, in his parents' home, if we don't get the lead up to that scene, where he takes Shane's hand because Shane just can't control himself. He's fiddling with the radio. He's fiddling with this. And Ilya takes his hand. And the thing that gets me is he kisses his hand 3 times. Like, I love you. Oh my God.
What was really cool, at least from a filmmaking standpoint, is that they showed how at ease Shane was once that action happened from Ilya. Like, we didn't have to see like Ilya kissing the knuckles because we saw what we needed to see, which was how that affected Shane in the rear view mirror, and you just saw him kind of close his eyes and just like melt.
Okay, girl,
into
you
it.
ate that. You ate that.
What?
You ate that. Go ahead, girl.
Oh, but it's so sweet, and like, of course, I would rather have seen the other view of it, but I thought just knowing like what Ilya had intended for that moment to be actually happened.
Because it wasn't about him. It was about Shane, yeah.
And I loved that. And then obviously, you know, if you remembered correctly or if you were paying attention, as we all probably were when Ilya was watching the documentary or whatever it was, in episode 4.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's only 10 minutes away, but that was probably like the longest 10 minutes of Shane's life ever.
And my parents' cottage, the one I grew up spending my summers at, is 10 minutes away.
You guys, that is our list. That is our list, and that is our honorable mentions. How excited are you guys for season 2? And also, what are your like unexpected or like not talked about moments of the cottage? We would love to know. We would love for you to comment down below.
Please, boys,
and we will see you guys on a next top 5 list. Bye.